Alright, so it's been a while since I've posted a video on my installation of an FC engine into an Rx8. Where I'm at the moment, the engine's fully mounted, exhaust, turbo, everything else is fitted, wastegate's fitted. I've run my water over the top here. I'm not overly happy with that. I'll probably look at getting this replaced with a fabricated box so I can move this sort of further to the left there. I've got my factory harness in. I've tried to run it around there as much as I can away from the turbo. Now I've just got to start looking at my oil system, fuel system and wiring. Okay, now I'm going to have a little bit of a look at the fuel system. The fuel pump and pickup here is located behind the passenger seat at the back. To access it, you just pull out the seating part of the rear seat. It just pops out, there's no screws or anything, so you've just got to use a bit of force to get it out. This then has a locking ring that holds it into place. There is a special tool which I bought and was unable to budget with that, so I ended up just using a screwdriver and mallet and just banged it on an angle until it came loose. Now the biggest issue with the Rx8 fuel system is it runs a deadhead system. When you pull the engine out, it'll appear that you've got two fuel lines, a line and a return, but that's not the case. Only one of them is an active line, which is here. If you're going to be running a turbo engine, you're going to need a return line. So I've seen a couple of people do it this way, and this is the way I'm going to do it. I've got a AN fitting here. It comes with some sealing washers there. I'm going to drill a hole in the top here and run that there so I can have a return line. It's not going to hinder anything. So that's how I'm going to run my return. And now as easy as that, I now have an AN fitting in the top there. I've also got a 90-degree bend, so I can fit the fuel line there under the shield that goes over the top. I've remounted the fuel pump. There's the return line on top there, and then the main feed line. If you're going to do this, I'd probably recommend not putting it where I've put it on the top here, because now there's not enough clearance here for the cap to go back on, so I'm going to have to fix it up later. I'll probably go down here where you've got a blank spot here. It'll give you a bit more room. So with the fuel system, I've run an external regulator. Here's the main Rx8 fuel line. I've used an adapter similar to this. Allows you to clip onto the factory line and then convert it to AN fitting. So that's going into my fuel rail, then back to my regulator. And I've had to run an extra return line back to the tank. Fortunately, there's already clips there that allow you to connect it up. It's a little bit hard to see, but you can see I've ran that aluminium 3/8 piping for the return line down to the tank using the existing clips. I've just got to put a clip on the back to hold the fuel line down there. So a little bit more on my wiring. If you watched my previous videos, you would have seen that I stripped down the original ECU loom here and only retained the cables that I needed for various sensors, temp sensor, oil pressure, CAS sensor. Now I'm going to have a bit of a look at the final part of the wiring I have to deal with. When you obviously take the motor out, the battery was originally at the front here. I've relocated the battery to the boot, so now what I've got to do is sort these wires out. It's pretty straightforward what we've got here. Two wires here, they go to the air conditioning compressor, so I'll just shorten those. One of these here is a main power feed, so I'm going to run that straight to the starter motor where my wiring from the boot goes to. And then you've got your starter motor cable. I'll have to run that down to the starter. And there's only one other one, this one here, which goes to here. That goes to your alternator, so I'm just going to shorten that and straight on the alternator. Okay, so I've done away with all that excess wiring. I've now got a wire going straight to the starter motor. This wire here is going to the alternator, and that there's going down to the air conditioner and to the starter motor. A couple of things to note. This is your relay for your fuel pump. This is a relay for your ignition. When I powered the car up, my fuel pump only ran for about 3 seconds, then cut off. I just noticed a dive on the regulator. So the driver for the relay must be still controlled by the old ECU. So what I've done, I've bypassed that and ran it straight to this relay, straight to ignition. So now when you put the ignition on, you've got a constant fuel pump running. My Next step is to take out the accelerator pedal and replace it with one out of an FC. The reason I'm doing that is I'm not running fly-by-wire. I'm going to run a cable accelerator, so the standard pedal's not going to be any good to me. Okay, so I finally got the FC cable pedal mounted. It's a bit hard to see, but I made an adapter bracket up there for now. And I've got the cable coming up through here, ready to mount to the throttle body. Okay, so the intercooler's finally mounted. This intercooler is just an eBay intercooler. It's 580 wide at the top, and as you can see, it fits in there nicely. It's all plumbed in, ready to go. Okay, so I've got the front bumper back on, and as you can see, the intercooler sitting behind there nicely. I've got two of my pipes run through here. I'm at a bit of a standstill at the moment. I've just remote mounted my oil filter up the front there. I got a modified oil pedestal made up. The only issue is the top line is fouling on the intake, so I've just got to get a 45-degree bend. I'll be able to mount that up. I'll then be able to mount the intake, the upper intake on, and she should be ready to start.